Who loves candy? You'll have to let me know in the comments. Let me know what your favorite candy is. It's Froggy Friday, and it's time for a candy frog. I decided to make a candy frog because I wanted something sweet. I'd love to tell you it's because I have a sweet personality, but truthfully, I think I'm just sort of addicted to sugar. Froggy Friday is a part of a weekly collaboration hosted by several different channels, and there are many of us that participate. As always, that playlist will be linked in my description. I have a lot of polymer clay slices that are in the shapes of candy, and I thought it would be a really cute way to add some candy to my frog. I decided I wanted to do traditional candy colors, and you can see a couple of my inspirational colors in the upper right hand corner. I'm starting off using UV resin to place my eyes and also to place the seed beads in the toes. This is Counterculture DIY's UV resin, and it is my go-to. Right now, they're having a sale. Use the code 20% sign off for 20% off of your order of $100 or more. I'm using 4 different colors of seed beads to correspond to the 4 different candy colors I want to use. I actually end up using mica powder instead of the translucent resin dye, but I use the same colors. I'm starting off with regular setting 1:1 epoxy from Let's Resin. It is their crystal clear line. And I've let this sit for a while already. I do let it sit for quite some time after this because I want it to thicken up. I don't want my candy slices to sink straight to the bottom. The candy pieces I'm using have come from several different places over several different orders, over several different years. Most of these have actually been taken out of their original packaging and put into something else, so I have no idea where they're from, when they were ordered, and I'm so sorry. But I did find you comparable items. Those are linked in the description. So as you can see, I'm taking my time and I am hand placing these. I want to make sure that it's sort of evenly distributed as much as it can be. Some of the items I end up just sort of sprinkling. I use glow-in-the-dark stones that I used in one of my prior frogs, and I thought they looked a little bit like rock candy, so I thought that would be very cool. Plus, it adds a glow-in-the-dark element. I start out using the tweezers to hand place these, and I did end up needing to use the tweezers to put things in the head area, but as you can see, I became a little impatient and gave up. I'm just sprinkling them in now. I think it worked out okay. After spending approximately 6 months placing all of these in by hand, I then I think I used my tweezers. It might have been another tool. We'll see, I don't quite remember. To push these items down into the resin. It's quite thick by now, and so it's kind of perfect. I want this to have a bit of a 3D element. I don't want everything just to be flat on the surface of the resin. And this is why I waited for the resin to thicken up. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Lo and behold, it's not my tweezers, it is my dotting tool, and it worked very well for this. When we think of resin, we always think about it in a liquid state. It's either liquid or it's cured, but it really can be in between and quite thick, sort of like Jell-O, and it's really useful in this state for some things. I highly encourage you to play around with your resin as far as letting it sit, getting thicker, and seeing what you can do with it. Through the magic of editing, you cannot tell here, but I have hit the panic stage. That resin has actually been sitting far too long. I was working on something else and letting this sit a little bit. I'm using different colored micas, and I didn't want them all to mix. However, what I was working on in the interim took far longer than I had planned, so by the time I got over to this, it was almost too late. That cup of resin was already pretty hot. And not only do I have to get all this mixed in time to pour it so it's not like chunky, I also have to worry about the mica actually dissolving properly in it. That's hard enough to get it to do when resin is totally fluid, but at this stage, it's a total gamble. I was very worried. That purple looks good. I'd eat it. Don't eat resin. That's a joke. Please don't eat resin. If you haven't had a chance to watch the World Book Day collaborations, you definitely should. That is my last video, and I have a link to the playlist in that description. Sally from All Aboard Resin Creations is hilarious. She had a video in that playlist. She made me laugh so hard because she had a new box of nitrile gloves. As she got them out, she realized they had instructions on them. It took me a while to recover from that one. I'm still giggling about it. Back to my candy frog. I have now poured the mica powder resin, and it did not go well. It's clumpy, it was super thick, I couldn't even really get all of it out, even using my little stir stick. And at this point, I'm beyond panic, and now I'm into disappointment. I wasn't expecting much after this. Dang it! I poured the rest of the clear resin over it, and now I need to try to tease that into the toes. Because I couldn't use all of the mica powder resin, I didn't end up having quite enough. I didn't want to make up more in such a small amount, so I just left it and took a chance and hoped I wouldn't break the toes. Once I was done messing around with this, I threw it into my curing machine, threw my hands up in the air, and walked away. This definitely doesn't have enough resin. So many bubbles. All right. Oh, it doesn't look that bad from this angle. The eyes are not quite in the right spot either. That's okay. Oh. You can't win them all. It's okay. You're still pretty cute. Froggy kiss. Even though this candy frog didn't turn out quite as sweet as I'd wanted it to, I still think it's really cute, and I think he's going to look fantastic with all of his froggy friends. I hope you like him, and I hope you have a sweet weekend. Thanks for hopping by. I'll see you soon.